Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. As y'all know, it's Friday night and I'm the Exposer. We are going live straight off of our GOAT James Kingdom platform here on YouTube, where you guys can go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, become a member of the channel as well. As you know, GOAT James Kingdom is the best platform to talk basketball. We go live every Sunday noon, but we are live on a Friday night because it's Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm Ajani the Exposer. Thank you for taking your time out and joining me this evening as we will discuss who is responsible for the Chicago Bulls dynasty breakup in the late 90s. So tonight's show will be about that. Thanks to everybody who is a member and a subscriber to the channel. We appreciate all the love and support here in GOAT James Kingdom. You guys let me know if my mic is working well. As you know, I had some troubles on Friday nights, so I want to make sure my mic is working well. But again, today's show, we're going to discuss whether or not Michael Jordan is responsible for the Bulls dynasty breaking up in the end of the 98, or was it someone else? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys make sure to check out all the perks that belongs to being a GOAT James Kingdom member, as we do exclusive videos, graphs, and we have special chat lines for our members, special merchandise as well. But again, tonight's matchups are available here. You can see on the bottom because there are some games going on right now. My Heat are playing. All right, and we have the Heat versus Atlanta. Orlando's playing Philadelphia. New Orleans is going against Phoenix later. Charlotte is going up against San Antonio. The Lakers are playing later on tonight versus the Nets. We got Denver and Boston playing right now. Portland, Indiana is going to play with Golden State and Dallas as well by the end of the night. So, yes, shout out to Son of Abba. Peace. Appreciate you, brother. That is a GOAT James Kingdom member. Yes, we did get on FYF last night, and I had some fun cooking some Kobe fans for sure. That is definitely what happened last night. Again, y'all, thank you for joining me. I am the Exposer. This is Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, right here off the GOAT James Kingdom platform. You guys make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber to the channel. But yeah, last night I was on FYF and I had some fun on there. So if you guys get a chance, check out FYF Sports Debates. They have a great platform where they allow anybody to come up there and talk basketball. Lamont does a great job running his platform. It does run for a long time. It's about it's always 3, 4, 5 hour shows. Last night's show was a 7-hour show, and I got to cooking a couple of Kobe fans last night because they couldn't handle the conversation nor the information I provide. So shout out to Son of Abba for getting a chance to catch that. If you don't get a chance to watch it, I just posted a video on our channel, so you guys can go ahead and check it out there. But you guys know we are also live on our Facebook group. All right, so you can check out the show there in Facebook group. Shout out to everybody that's following us on Facebook. We have TikTok and Instagram accounts, and also a Twitter account. So you guys go ahead and check us out because we are going to continue to drop content. We are GOAT James Kingdom. I'm Ajani the Exposer, one half of GOAT James Kingdom. My other half will be available Sunday afternoon, noon Eastern time, where we talk basketball and the greatest players to ever play the game, including the GOAT, LeBron James. But tonight's show is not going to be about LeBron James. Not at all. Not at all. What's good, Rundown Productions? Tonight's show is going to be about whether or not the Bulls dynasty was broken up because of Jerry Krause or Michael Jordan. Now, everybody who's watched The Last Dance knows that Michael Jordan was absolved of this accountability for what happened in the end of 1998. We all know Michael Jordan retired because Phil Jackson did not return after the 98 season. The theory is that Phil Jackson got fired and they didn't want to bring Phil Jackson back. Well, that's the first lie about the whole scenario. 2, Michael Jordan retired because he did not want to play basketball without Phil Jackson and without Scottie Pippen, who the Bulls were not going to re-sign because Scottie Pippen wanted a max deal and he was outside of his prime, and they were not going to spend that money on Scottie Pippen. But the Bulls still would have been able to have a team, and Michael Jordan could have still played if he wanted to play the game of basketball year 99. What up? Peace out to A Weezy Bang. What up, brother? Y'all make sure to check out Bang Sports and Entertainment as he drops great knowledge. He'll have a halftime show, a pregame show, and a postgame show tonight. So once you're done with our show, y'all go hop on and go talk to Bang and them, and y'all go see some real LeBron fans talk about some real Lakers stuff, and he'll bring up some real facts. So But again, I am Ajani the Exposer. Thanks for everybody who is watching me tonight. If this is your first time watching me, I appreciate you. We're going to have a great show. I am going to bring up facts for everybody who doesn't understand. Yes, LeBron James is about 400 points tonight. After tonight, he should be less than 400 points away from 40K. So yes, LeBron James is doing magnificent things on the basketball court. But as we were talking about the Last Dance, right? So the Last Dance obviously is the crux for Michael Jordan fans when it comes to understanding the 90s, because majority of Michael Jordan fans did not watch the 90s. So the Last Dance gave them an open eye of what was going on then. But there was a lot of lies being told during the Last Dance. And one of the lies was the Phil Jackson leaving the Chicago Bulls, and the whole scenario, what happened at the end of 1998 season when the Bulls won their 6th NBA championship, got their second three-peat in 8 years, and Michael Jordan walked off with a game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. Now that was that's a storybook right there ending. That's just perfect. That's Disney World Fantasyland ending, right? So that, a lot of people say Michael Jordan had the right to do that. But again, why are you mad then? If Michael Jordan walks off, then the team should rebuild. If Michael Jordan's not there and they're not going to bring back Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson says he's not coming back, then why not rebuild the team? And that's why Jerry Krause was such a brilliant GM, because he saw ahead. That's what a GM is supposed to do. They're supposed to see 3-4 years in the future. Their job is to not worry about just right now, but to worry about the future. That's his job. So let's first bring up the idea, okay, that Michael Jordan and Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson, right? Let's bring up this idea that first of all, that Michael Jordan stated that Phil Jackson was removed or forced out. That was a Jerry Krause thing. Everything that Michael Jordan did not like the Bulls doing, he always blamed it on Jerry Krause. But if we look here at the Jordan's Rules book, there is a new intro written by Sam Smith where he discusses the lies being told in The Last Dance. And one of the lies that he told, that was told in The Last Dance, that he points out in this intro, is that Phil Jackson left the Chicago Bulls on his own accord. No one forced him out. It wasn't because him and Jerry Krause wasn't getting along. It wasn't because of nothing other than Phil Jackson no longer wanted to coach the Chicago Bulls. This is facts. This is not me just bringing up conjecture. This is Sam Smith. If we can't take Sam Smith's word, who was a 90s beat writer for the Chicago Bulls, he is an award-winning writer, an award-winning author. If we can't take his word, and mind you, his award and his accolades and his acumen is based off investigative journalism. That's what they labeled this book, investigative journalism, because he was breaking things that nobody knew what was going on within the Bulls organization and within the Bulls roster. So let's just start off with him saying it right here. Off the top, you guys can read this. Everybody's here. Y'all make sure to hit them like buttons. Y'all make sure to, to hit them subscribe buttons. Don't be afraid to be a member like Zero. Shout out to Zero. Peace to you, brother. Thank you so much. All right. So let's start off with what Sam Smith says. He says, Jackson had talked for years about how the voice of a leader and a coach wears on a group after 7 seasons. His 7th as the Bulls coach was after the 95-96 season, when the Bulls won 72 games and eased to the title and were declared the best ever. So after 96, Phil Jackson was ready to leave the Chicago Bulls. Now pay attention, this is the key part. Still, Phil struggled with staying. It took a delegation of players led by Ron Harper to come to Jackson's house in Chicago's suburbs before he left for his summer Montana home to persuade him to return for one more season. Then after the Bulls won the title in 1997, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, flew to Montana to meet with Phil Jackson, and Jackson then said it was final. One more year, and that was it. So as of the summer of 1997, the Bulls organization understood that Phil Jackson was not returning. If Jerry Reinsdorf could not get Phil Jackson to say that he wanted to stay as a Chicago Bulls coach long-term and give him that extension that they wanted to give him, no one could do it. It had nothing to do with Jerry Krause. Nothing at all. This is what Michael Jordan fans don't want to talk about. They don't like real information. They don't like real knowledge. They don't like to research. Matter of fact, the Chicago Bulls of the 90s is the most documented basketball team in NBA history. There are countless books and documentaries about that team. The Michael Jordan phenomenon of the 90s was so large when we're talking about media presence that the Bulls had to set certain precedents for the media. They had so many people trying to figure out what was going on in and out of the Chicago Bulls organization because of Michael Jordan's popularity. Phil Jackson, Jerry Krause, and the Bulls organization had to deal with a lot of media that were talking to players who were talking to the media. Michael Jordan would run to the media and give them snippets and run and tell them things that nobody's supposed to know. Because the Bulls were that popular of a team. That's how much media coverage surrounded them. There was so much information being brought out. But what was going on? But yet Michael Jordan fans cannot tell you what was really going on in the 90s. Legitimately, they can't. It's crazy. Shout out to Twin Man. Peace, Twin Man. Y'all make sure to hit them like buttons. Right? But let's continue. He wanted that sabbatical. It was time. Plus, Jackson could see the possibilities with the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers team was adrift, and Shaquille O'Neal was already quietly putting out feelers to Jackson. It's why the Bulls general manager, Jerry Krause, delivered that foolish declaration to start the 1997-98 season, saying that Phil wouldn't return even if the team went 82-0. Why did Krause say that? Because there's a big mass media around the Bulls, and night in and night out and day in and day out, people are asking, how long will this last? Is Phil Jackson going to get his new contract? We just saw Tomlin walk out on a press conference because the first thing somebody asked him, or one of the things somebody asked him after losing a playoff game, was his contract because he had 1 year left. So the media was pressuring the Bulls to discuss what was going to happen, and Krause didn't care after that. Krause just literally said something idiotic, which he got in trouble with by Reinsdorf, because he shouldn't have said nothing. He should have just left it as is. Phil's not coming back. We're gonna figure everything out when the year's over. That's what he should have said. He should have stayed like how he normally stays as a professional GM. But this is one of his moments where he slipped. And he said it didn't matter if they went 82-0. Phil's not coming back. Not saying we're firing Phil. Why would you not fire Phil now then? Why is he waiting one more year? Because at the end of the day, the real power lied with Jerry Reinsdorf, not with Jerry Krause. So Jerry Krause was not responsible for Phil Jackson's leaving. Not at all. And again, if you think I'm lying and you think I'm making up stuff, this is what you guys love to do with GOAT James Kingdom. Like I keep telling y'all, I love to expose people. This is what I love to do. This is what I do. This is why we exist at GOAT James Kingdom. Because we provide information. We don't provide narratives. We don't provide fake stuff. You can take the information however you want to take it. You can take it however you want to take it. But at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls broke up because Michael Jordan wanted to retire. And here is Reinsdorf explaining to you about how he wanted to keep the Bulls and what they had to do and why it was Michael Jordan leaving that really made the Bulls a problem to keep their team together. All right? Let's pay attention. Listen, y'all.
If Michael Jordan had not retired, I don't have any doubt in my mind that we would have had an awfully good chance of winning another championship. But once Michael retired, we talked about what we're going to do. Can we bring the rest of this group back and win with it? If Michael Jordan had not retired, I don't have any doubt in my mind that we would have had an awfully good chance of winning another championship. But once Michael retired, we talked about what we're going to do. Can we bring the rest of this group back and win with it?
All right, so that's Jerry Reinsdorf right there telling you guys and telling us how Michael Jordan retiring is why the Bulls could not keep that team together. Like that's Jerry Reinsdorf word for word. That's coming out of his mouth. That's not me bringing up stuff. That's not me bringing up narratives. That's him telling you, yo, we couldn't keep the team together if Michael Jordan doesn't stay. And we don't have no Mike. We don't have a team. Forget Phil Jackson. We don't have a team without Michael Jordan. That's what Jordan fans say. So why now is that a problem if Jerry Reinsdorf is actually confirming what you guys have always said, that Michael Jordan is the team, that we need him to keep everybody in line and to keep the team together, right? But y'all still don't want to believe me, right? Because like I said, Michael Jordan left, and because he left is why the Bulls had that issue. So let's bring up Reinsdorf again, telling you how they were waiting for Michael Jordan to tell everybody that I'm coming back, for them to do what they had to do to go on for the next season. But Michael Jordan was handcuffing the Chicago Bulls like he did throughout the 90s and throughout the late 80s. Michael Jordan is a problem when it comes to executive and GMing, and I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to prove it like I always say. But let's listen to Jerry Reinsdorf explain how Michael Jordan leaving is why the Bulls did not have a chance to actually go for another run. Pay attention.
As the NBA lockout dragged on and the 1998-99 season was delayed, Jackson insisted he wouldn't return, and Jordan reiterated that he would only play for his championship coach. Management continued to leave the door open for everyone.
I've said over and over again that I wanted to bring back the players and the coach who won the 1998 championship. Should Phil not return by the end of the lockout, Tim will succeed him as head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
I think it would have been a bad thing for us to announce that Tim was the new head coach, and now the perception was Michael retired because we got forced out. We tried to leave it up to Michael.
You heard that. We tried to leave it up to Michael. We tried to let Michael make the decision to say whether he was going to come back or not. I'm about to put the link up for you guys to join. So Michael Jordan is the reason why the Bulls didn't get a chance to get 4 straight or get the 7th NBA title. Whether it was going to be in 99 or 2000 or 2001 or 2002 or 2003. Michael Jordan quitting is what broke up the Bulls, because he can't win without Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson. He knew that. He said it. I didn't win a championship without Scottie Pippen. That's why he's my best teammate ever. I refuse to play without my coach because I don't want to do nothing else. I don't want to try to build nobody no more. I can't do this. This is not what I came here to do. I came here to win championships. I can score 30 points per game. That's what y'all need me to do. And I can sell tickets. That's what I'm going to do. But Michael Jordan legitimately was afraid to continue on. His legacy wasn't going to get tarnished if the Bulls started losing after the 6 championships. It would tarnish Michael Jordan fans' emotions in their hearts. But like we've always said here in GOAT James Kingdom, we don't care about what y'all feel and sentiments. We're not here to talk about how you feel. We're here to talk about the facts. And the facts is that Michael Jordan hindered the Bulls from actually rebuilding a team because they were trying to trade Scottie Pippen in 95. But Michael Jordan told the Bulls brass, if you do that, I won't return. I won't come out of retirement. So they held on to Scottie Pippen in 95. Then they tried to trade Scottie Pippen again in 97. And Michael Jordan told him, if you do that, I won't return. I'm going to retire. And he finally threatened them in 98 with the same thing and finally stood 10 toes down and retired because they would not give him Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson in 99. So Michael Jordan is the reason why the Bulls separated. And I'm going to give you another pointer here. Let me give you guys something else. Remember I said Michael Jordan was the one that hindered and handcuffed the Chicago Bulls for the whole decade. All right? Now, this is again from the Jordan Rules book. Okay? This was written in 1991. It was published in 1993, but this was written for the 1991 NBA season. The entire Jordan Rules book is about the entire 1991 NBA season for the Chicago Bulls and how they got to that point to win a championship, their first NBA championship. But here, if we look at Jerry Reinsdorf talking to Michael Jordan about what Michael Jordan is telling the media about Jerry Krause and his teammates, and how Michael Jordan is making it hard for the Bulls to actually have any kind of trades or to make any good deals with any other teams because Michael Jordan is actually playing golf with other GMs. Y'all know that? That Michael Jordan used to play golf with GMs in the NBA and they used to tell him stuff about Jerry Krause. This dude Mike is a snake, man. Why are you running around talking about your GM to other GMs? Because Mike was trying to build his reputation so he could own a team. Mike didn't care about that. Mike was bigger than the Bulls. He was making money without the Bulls. So this is what Jerry Reinsdorf says. Well, Reinsdorf pointed out to Jordan, quote, "You're not helping any. We're working on several deals, but every time you come out criticizing the general manager, it makes it look like Jerry has something and that makes it harder on us. People start thinking we're desperate and want to take advantage of us, end quote. So that's Jerry Reinsdorf saying, listen, you running around telling people that Jerry Krause is a fuck up and he's not doing his job correctly, makes other teams think that whatever deal that Jerry Krause is trying to make is because he's under the pressure. He's under the hot seat. And that's not the case, because Jerry Reinsdorf allowed Jerry Krause to run the Bulls free-handedly. He made the final decisions over Krause, but he allowed Krause to do his job. Then he went on further to state this, because this is just Michael Jordan running to people talking about Jerry Krause. Michael Jordan used to run to the media and talk about his teammates, like Scottie Pippen, like Horace Grant, like Cartwright. He used to do that all the time. This is Jerry Reinsdorf, quote to Michael Jordan. Quote, again, Lau, this is a quote. Imagine how this makes your teammates feel, end quote. Reinsdorf continues. Quote again. What are they supposed to think when their captain says they're not good enough? How are we supposed to get the most out of them? And then how are we supposed to make a deal when you're knocking your players? Are other teams going to want them when you say they are not good enough? End quote. You have now been exposed by the exposer. That is what we are talking about. Michael Jordan's inability to evaluate talent and have the patience to understand what it takes to be a good leader and a great teammate. Jordan doesn't have that in his bones because he was chasing Magic in them. You got to remember, when Michael Jordan joined the league, he was so popular that Magic and them had to let him in. These were the legends. But he's chasing them. He's hanging out with them. He's playing cards with them every night. And they're telling him, you ain't got no championships. You ain't winning nothing. You letting the little boy Isaiah beat you every week, every year. So Jordan only cared about his legacy. Shout out to Lamont. Peace to Lamont. What's good, brother? Shout out to FYF Sports Debate, man. That was a great night last night, sir. Pause. Them boys got exposed, man. I don't know why they think that they can do it with the GOAT James Kingdom platform. We are not the ones. Matter of fact, we are the ones. You have now been exposed by the exposer. But I'm about to put the link up because I'm ready to have some fun with y'all because I want to have a conversation with some basketball fans. I want to see what y'all think of this information that I'm providing because, again, we are GOAT James Kingdom. And we are the platform that talk about the greatest players of all time. We are the platform that talks about basketball. That's what we do best. This is why we are GOAT James Kingdom. So the link is available. Anybody wants to come join and have a conversation with the exposer. It's Friday night. Let's have this conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to catch us Sunday noon Eastern time where we have the GOAT James Kingdom show with Brandon and I. So we're going to have a great conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring up my first guy here. That's my boy, Twin Man. What's good, Twin Man? Peace, brother. What's good?
Yo, what up? What up?
What's good? What's good?
What I love about this platform and what I also love about FYF is that it's information based. Like all the crap you hear them talk about LeBron James, the GM, he always crap on his teammates. That was always pure projection. Now, I'm not going to fake like LeBron hasn't slipped up in the media and said some stuff he shouldn't have said. But why are we pretending like Jordan was the standard when it came to being a great teammate? He wasn't. Jordan's entire persona, from being the GOAT, from having the great teammates, was built for him. He couldn't carry anybody, period. And when people say that about him, they're like, you hating. No, he needed Scottie. He needed Horace. He needed Cartwright. He needed B.J. Armstrong. He needed Paxton. He needed Kerr. They built around him consistently because he was threatening them consistently. And people don't want to hear that. LeBron James literally does his job. He brings bums, carries them to the finals, and we shit on him for it. It is hilarious to me. The way people talk about Jerry Krause, the way they did that man's wife was disgusting. I was disgusted as a basketball fan when they booed that man's wife after he built y'all a dynasty. It was disgusting. The projection people have, the projection people just have when they sit here and they say these things about LeBron James, the crying. Who cried more than Jordan? Who cried to the referees more than Jordan? The last time I checked, they changed rules for Jordan.
Everybody cries, man. You should be crying to the ref when the refs ain't doing their jobs. Hold on. Boycott activity. I'm bringing you up next, then I'll bring up Craig, and then I'll bring you up Chad. You guys, please be patient.
That's all I had to say, bro.
Okay. So Twin Man. Let me tell you something. Am I bugging by saying Phil Jackson left on his own accord?
You're not bugging.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to make sure. That's all I wanted to make sure. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure to holler at Twin Man, because Twin Man is always here with GOAT James Kingdom. He'll be here Sunday. We'll have a great show Sunday as well. Appreciate you, brother, man. Let me get somebody else up here. Let me get Boycott Activity up. All right, peace and blessings, man. Peace and blessings. So that's Twin Man. Y'all know Twin Man. He's an avid GOAT James Kingdom supporter. Appreciate you, brother. Let me bring up Boycott Activity. What's good, Boycott?
And yeah, to the dude in the chat, of course, obviously, MJ fans aren't the best if you're booing a man's widow at the game. But let me continue what I was gonna say. This is why, and it adds credence to that notion that LeBron's his quality, no one could do what he did, which is come up in an era where he was the most over criticized player in the history of sports. We see how Jordan reacts to criticism. You know, there was a game that could have skyrocketed his career earlier. He played the Pistons, I believe it was 1989, and his own organization was saying the reason we're not winning is because you won't give up the ball, you won't let anybody else get the ball, you need to distribute more, you need to let other people get the ball. Mm-hmm. So in a game 5 against the Pistons, he shoots 8 shots when Isaiah and Dumars was struggling. They could have beat the Pistons in '89 and started his legacy as a champion earlier, but he acted like a child and said, "Oh, I'm not going to shoot. Since y'all keep saying that I'm the problem, I'm going to only shoot 8 shots, go 4 of 8." What superstar that is a scorer, right, does something like that and handicaps your team, right? You ruin the chances to actually help your team win because a little bit of criticism hurts your feelings. So compare that to what LeBron goes through every day with sites like MJ fans are the best, with Ticket TV, with everybody on Twitter, right? He goes through all of that, still wins championships, still goes to finals, still performs well, still sets records. Mm-hmm. So besides the statistics, besides the success, besides the competition he played against, now you can say that not only was LeBron had more basketball IQ, but Jordan could never do what he did because he could never take the criticism or even a tenth of the criticism that LeBron got. So he would have been crushed if he was ever in LeBron's shoes. That what makes LeBron special in another way.
And you're not wrong, because Jordan himself said that he couldn't deal with the media as far as social media and how today's media is. It's too scrutinizing. It's too much for him. He wouldn't be able to deal with it. So I appreciate you, Boycott, bringing that up, man. Like you said, these guys don't handle it. You got any last words for these guys in the comments? Because I see Darts in the comments. I don't know if it's Dart or not, but what up, Dart? I see Politicus Rex. Shout out to you guys, man. But you got any last words before I bring up Craig?
I just want to say I hope you Michael Jordan's fans, and I'm not saying it was only you, I know it was Bulls fans, but I hope you Michael Jordan's fans, because I know you were there booing as well. I hope this is a moment for you to look in the mirror and see how you really behave like a child and like a brat. I hope this really is, when you're calling people bronzesexuals and all that stuff like that, I hope this is a chance to look in the mirror, and I hope you're embarrassed. But knowing you're probably not.
They're not, because they don't take one for the team. They're saying it's not them. Watch, because Craig's going to come up. Watch what Craig says. Watch this, y'all. Peace out. Peace. Boy, God, peace. Craig, my homeboy Craig, my favorite MJ delegate. What's good, brother?
Yo.
What's good, man? What's popping, brother?
Just for the record, I thought this was going to be an episode about Michael Jordan, then it turned out to be a episode about Michael Jordan versus LeBron, but it's neither here nor there. So.
Leave it up to you, Craig. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, we supposed to be talking about Jordan, and they over here spitting up LeBron, defending LeBron for no reason, knowing this is GOAT
Then
Day.
somebody gonna make a post about why is there's people that represent Jordan and LeBron group.
Hey, listen, man. Jordan is it's not a bad player. We don't hate Michael Jordan over here. We just don't like the lies being spewed.
You know what? I
about
said
Michael
this.
Jordan.
I can't say one LeBron fan that made a post positive about Jordan. You cannot find one positive post about Jordan from a LeBron fan, but you could find a positive post about a LeBron by someone who thinks Jordan's the GOAT. Go check my post out.
What? Oh, not you. Not you. You don't count. You don't count, Craig.
I don't count.
You don't count, Craig.
I don't count. I don't count.
Right,
but everybody's LeBron hater.
You don't count. You don't count. You are an exception to the rule. You don't count. You don't count, Craig. You are an objective Michael fan. You see what I'm saying? You know how to talk the game. That's why you can show up every Sunday and not take it personal. To be honest with you, I think Ralph got upset with me last week, bro. To be honest with you.
Well, what happened?
I don't know. I think his phone lagged, and from there, because like I said, I get tired of people saying that we lie, that we say things that they said they said that we said things that they didn't say, right? But in reality, they did say it. And then when we show you guys the clip that this is exactly what you said, Ralph tried to defend him, and I told Ralph about that. I said, Ralph, we're not liars, because he that happens on his TikToks with me all the time. He lets people tell us we're liars and try to cut us off, and we're not liars. That we don't create a show to just lie. Like, we create a show to provide content and information. So we're not lying. So I don't like when somebody calls us a liar, especially when they don't even have the research to actually prove us wrong. That's what makes it even bad. You don't have the information. It's not our fault you guys don't do research. Not true. But you understand what I'm trying to say? The people that always talk to us. So I think Ralph didn't like that, because Ralph doesn't like how I snap on people. Ralph thinks the exposure is a little too much. Hey, the link is in the comment for you guys. I'm gonna bring you up in a second, Chad. You coming up next, Chad. But what do you think of this Michael Jordan thing, man? How as you as a Michael Jordan fan feel about the crowd situation? Because that was kind of crazy what they did last week with the old lady and all.
Yeah, that shit is fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up all around. The people who agree with them booing and having that's just fucked up. The man is dead, and that was his wife. I don't mess with people's family like that.
And I think that was the thing, because when they announced him, they did say represented by his wife. So it wasn't like
they didn't even get a chance. They once they heard manager that once what? They didn't even give him a chance to say his name. They was like, this nigga boo, but they didn't even let him. They booed before they knew who it was.
That's not the first time he's been booed before, but again, under those circumstances, how do you boo him? Like, you're supposed to be honoring the whole dynasty of the 90s. So yeah, of course you're gonna mention that. However, they did not expect Krause to not be mentioned, is my point. And why do they feel like they have to still hold on to a grudge for over 20 years?
I mean, it's over. You can't change it. Ain't no time machine. Let it go. It's too emotional. I don't know how you get emotional. You ain't the championships ain't do nothing for you. Like, what? It's nice to celebrate, but you don't get nothing. You get no financial gain for saying my city won a championship.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's sad, and again, it's based off of lies. Because even in The Last Dance, if you guys remember, in The Last Dance, there was a scene in there where they gave Jordan the iPad to listen to Jerry Reinsdorf explain what happened, and Mike said he never was told what Jerry Reinsdorf said on that particular recording. So there was a lot of lies being told in the Last Dance, and a lot of people believed those lies. So, again, that's the sad part about it, because, like you said, Michael Jordan gets all the credit. You are one of those that give Jordan all the credit for the Bulls.
Yeah, because he gets all the credit when they lose.
All right, so let me ask you this though: if y'all
don't want to give him the credit for him, y'all don't say the 1-9 that he can't win without Pippen. Then you got to give him the same amount of credit you give him for losing. You got to give it to him when he wins. The final MVP says it all.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna ask you this one question. I'm gonna let you go. Right, here we go. This one question: if Michael Jordan does return in '99, but without Scottie Pippen and without Phil Jackson and the rest of the squad, it still returns. Everybody else comes back. besides those other two guys, what would the Bulls' chances would be to win a championship within the next whatever year or
I
two after
mean,
that?
the Knicks made the finals that season as an eighth seed, so
So the Bulls would have had a chance, right? The league MVP, the reigning league
yeah,
MVP, should have had a
and
chance, correct?
yeah, and to be honest, he would. I think they would have. They without that, if they would have made the finals, I still think the Spurs would have won.
Yeah. Jerry Reinsdorf resigned after 2003 because yeah, he did 20 years for the Bulls, and it was a different NBA. There was new rules, new changes, players coming in. It wasn't the same NBA anymore. It was a different NBA for him. So he it was time for him to move on. But at least he moved on without quitting like Jordan did. Jordan quit before the
Jordan
dynasty.
quit as a champion twice. No one else can say that.
Kraus died as a champion, 6-time champion. So shout out to Kraus. All right. So all
No
right,
one can
Craig.
say I quit as a champion on two separate occasions. To go
All
out
right.
on
Well,
top, I had to do it again because y'all believe the first one.
any last words for anybody in the comments, Craig?
Nah, let me get out of here.
All right, bro, man. Enjoy Friday night. Again, I'll let you know about Sunday's show. We still don't have a topic, but we'll have one by tomorrow for you. I promise you, brother.
All right.
All right. So y'all check out Craig King on our Facebook group, man. He's one of our MJ delegates as he makes sure Brandon and I do not go off the ledge talking about Michael Jordan. So he'll be on our show every Sunday noon when he can. And we appreciate you, Craig. Appreciate you so much. Chad, what up, Chad?
Going on.
Yo. These Jordan fans, man.
Yeah,
They are the worst. I know what? All right, let's be honest. Who's worse, Kobe Bryant fans or Jordan fans?
I say Jordan fans are the worst, but Kobe fans are more delusional.
They are delusional, man. Shout out to Travis. Travis, thank you so much. That is another MJ delegate. Thank you so much. That is your arch nemesis is up on the microphone right now, Travis. So let him have it. What you got for me today, Chad? What you got for your brother today, man? What you got for me, man?
Just a couple things, man. You've been doing this group for 2 years. Did you expect anything different from Michael Jordan fans with the booing?
You know what?
Did you expect anything different?
I didn't expect anything, but then the question lies then: why did Chicago do it? Why? If Chicago should have known, the Bulls should have known that was going to happen. So they even put that lady in that situation.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean? But damn, are they that disconnected with the fans?
obviously.
Or there's a bunch of Bulls fans that are really not Bulls fans. They're just Michael Jordan fans.
Right. And that's why I call Jordan Mr. Self-Centered. They get on to LeBron about saying that made me the GOAT right there. But this man literally made a documentary about himself. They all the time sitting there saying everybody else does the talking for him. Why did he make a documentary? Why did he make the documentary?
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, right? Check this out. After Phil Jackson told the Bulls brass that he was not going to return after the 98 season, he then went to the team and told the team this was the last run. This was the last dance. We're going to have cameras and film. There's going to be special access to everybody. It's going to be a special season. We're going to make this one of the greatest seasons ever. That was his motivation for the players that year. That was how he, because remember, he in the book he talked about how Phil feels there's not too many ways to motivate or keep pushing players or inspiring players after 7 years, right?
Exactly.
So now we're talking about him in his 9th year. So now he's trying to find a way to motivate the players to get them to understand what they're trying to accomplish for this season. So that's why we had all of that film for the Last Dance documentary. Now the reason the documentary was never ever released prior to 2020 was because Michael Jordan never signed off on them using his likeness, which we all know Michael Jordan does not play about his likeness and his brand.
Mr. Self-Centered.
So it wasn't until 2016 championship that Michael Jordan decided to sign off on it, and he obviously was not. He wasn't labeled as an executive producer, but he had say so in the film.
He got to sell them shoes, man. Because
Man.
obviously, an owner
Uh-huh.
wasn't working out.
You see what I'm saying? So, but again, the Chicago Bulls was one of the greatest teams to ever play. They were the most
Absolutely.
They were one of the most document. They were the most, not one of the most. They were the most documented team in NBA history. There is more books and documents and things on this team than any other team. I would even say in sports history. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys of the '90s might have more of a documented
Another
history.
delusional fan base there.
But still, the Bulls are in basketball. So there's no reason why you don't know the information that is readily available for anybody. Now, mind you, Phil Jackson has several books, and Tex Winters has a book. I'm about to get the Tex Winters book because he seems like to be a more honest individual. He seems to be down to earth. Rex, you're in the comments. Please come up. I would love to speak to you as a old
All right, Johnny.
aficionado. But what you got for me, Chad? Just let me know if you got anything.
Nah, I was just going with your show there. I wasn't trying to start no shit.
No, you can start some shit. It's Friday Night Exposure. What you got to expose
All
tonight? So
right,
man,
man. This
last
one here, this one here is for Clay.
okay.
He wants to talk about possession and pace. All right.
Uh huh.
How do you get those?
Okay, possessions, right?
Yes,
A possession ends with a field goal shot of a personal foul, a free throw, a turnover,
correct,
right?
correct,
A rebound. Okay, and your pace is the amount of possessions a team has per 100 yeah, amount of possessions a team has per 100 possessions, something like that.
correct. All
Okay,
right.
go
Now, if
ahead.
you go look at the Bulls in the '90s, they were at the
Hmm.
bottom of the league in pace and possessions,
Yes,
solely
yes,
because Jordan was taking over a third of his team's shots, and they were running down the shot clock, man, for him to get in ISO situations or to get to his spots.
yeah, yeah. Standing in
So
post up, waiting for
to have higher
the
pace,
offense to develop. Yeah,
have a higher pace, you're not running the shot clock out. Therefore, you're either trying to drive in there or pass out and get quick shots. That's how you have a higher pace.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Clay wants to alter and add numbers on, well, if he played this pace and this is what this is going to be. But what he doesn't understand is a shot equals a shot, right?
No, no, you're right. Yeah, Clay.
So if
You
you're
know, Clay
taking
makes up
24
stats.
shots, if you're
Uh huh.
taking 24 shots to average 30, what would lead me to believe that if you played in a higher pace, still just getting 24 shots, that you're going to average more?
Well, what makes you think Jordan's going to take those 27 to 30 shots? Just because there's more possessions, especially in an era where the ball is moving way much more. You're not standing still with the ball, and you
Yeah,
can't
but
cross over.
they slowed it down in the '90s. Like I said, that's why they were at
Oh
the
yeah,
bottom.
no, they slowed it down in the '90s because it was less skilled as far as the type of players that were involved. There was
But
a
I'm
lot of
talking
music.
about the Bulls themselves
Yeah,
were
no,
at the
yeah,
bottom of the league because
yeah,
Jordan was
yeah,
running the
because
clock down.
exactly because they were running the exactly because Jordan had the ball in his hand. Like they always say, Jordan was ball dominant.
Yes. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. So how is that going to be different? How is he going to play at a faster pace if he still plays the same style that he played in the '90s? He's not.
well, no, what they are assuming is because at that time the pace is 120, it's automatic that Jordan's team is going to play at 120. That's what they assume.
Then they're not.
No, of
His
course
team.
not. That's why, yeah, they make up stuff. We know they make up stuff all the time. They're good at making up things. I'm about to bring you up in a second here, Rex. They're good at making up things. Chad, you know that. But you know you like arguing with Clay. Clay is not gonna ever come up here and argue with
No, he
anybody.
ain't.
But he's gonna create fake stats and graphs for it, and he's never gonna really present the real. Because I don't read none of that stuff. Who reads that dissertation? He writes like a whole 6-page paragraph. If I have to hit read more, I'm not gonna read anything you put down.
I mean, I do because it just gets worse and worse the more you read.
No,
And
no,
he,
and
he
listen,
actually contradicts himself in his own comments, man, and don't even see it.
listen, that's why we appreciate you because again, it helps out. You are an avid member in the Goat James Kingdom group in Facebook, so thank you again. We appreciate it. Just keep going at those guys, man. Keep going at them, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All
So
right, man, you take
let me
care.
get. You have a good evening, my friend. Let me get Rex up here. All right, Politicus Rex from the Michael Jordan fans are the best page. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming. Thanks for coming up on a Friday night exposure and taking your time out to deal with me, the crazy guy that sits in the back of his house in Miami. Instead of watching all the great games that are on right now, I'm quite sure Boston game and Denver game is a great game. You know, Boston's undefeated at home. Denver's playing well. My Heat are playing up right now. Oh, man. So, but anyways, I brought you up because obviously you are a historian of the game. You've been watching basketball for a very long time. And I would like you to help relate what was going on in the 90s with the Chicago Bulls and Jerry Krause and Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. Whatever information you could expose for the fans out here.
Okay, just real quick, you gave so much information at the beginning of the broadcast, just laying out a bunch of different written articles that cannot be disproven. But there was one fact that you didn't elaborate on when you were talking about how Jordan was leaving the team hanging, not giving his answer as to what he was going to do. The reason why was because he had sliced his finger open cutting a cigar and severed the tendon on his shooting hand. And he didn't know if he was even going to be able to play. That was something else thrown in there.
You know what? I'm glad that you said that because, yes, that was also in the book because he also mentioned that even with that being said, even if Michael Jordan did decide to come back, it was more than likely he was going to miss the whole 99 season due to the lockout, and it was going to be a short season, and he had a slit on his finger that was his shooting finger, supposedly from a cigar accident, from cigar cutting. So you are correct. So, again, Jordan wouldn't have played 99, so I guess we could absolve him for that. But do you think that was worthy enough to hold him hostage if the team is telling him, hey, we're waiting on you to really tell us what you want to do?
Well, yeah, because he has to talk to doctors. Doctors had to evaluate it and see, okay, are we talking about a couple week thing here, Doc? Is this something that you can go in and you can surgically repair and I miss preseason and maybe the first month of the season? We gotta get it fixed. We gotta see how it's healing. And once you tell the team that you've done that, you lose leverage. You lose your leverage. You're no longer calling the shots for the team because now they know, well, he's not even going to be here anyway. So now we can do what we want. So that's information you just don't blurt out to the other side you're negotiating with. That's something you want. You want all the answers. You want all your ducks in a row before you bring that up. It's just like Bird. When Bird shattered his index finger playing softball, he hadn't played a game for Boston yet. And he says he actually waited weeks before he told them because he didn't know what was going to happen. He just held them hostage and forced the biggest rookie contract in he was the highest paid player on the Celtics. He hadn't even played a play yet. And then he shatters the index finger on his shooting hand playing softball, which he wasn't supposed to be doing. And he waited weeks before he finally told the team what happened. Everyone in the team freaked out except for Auerbach, who said, well, let's just see. And they brought him in, and he did a shoot around. The doctor team doctor looked at it. He did some drills. They ran some plays. And he knocked down some crazy amount of shots in a row, and Auerbach just looked at everyone, was like, this is stupid. He's fine, and then walked out.
Oh, okay. You know, I never knew about that Bird incident. That's a new one for me, so thank you for bringing that up. That's why I wanted you to come up, because I know you're the historian and you know. All right, so Jordan had the leverage, and he wanted to hold on to the leverage. But throughout that season, if I could just give you a little kickback here, throughout that season, though, he was adamant that if Phil Jackson doesn't come back, I'm not coming back. And it was known that Phil said he wasn't coming back. There's no way Michael Jordan didn't know Phil had decided he wasn't coming back. Why did Michael Jordan pretend as if he had no idea why Phil wasn't coming back? Why did he make it seem like it was a Jerry Krause thing?
Because I had mentioned this before in one of your comment sections. The whole story behind it, the only fallible perspective in the evidence that you've been showing so far tonight is that it's all wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's quotes from people. Okay, you have to put them in chronological order,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to understand the tit for tat, the ebb and the flow,
Mm-hmm.
and what goes on. Like with the whole Krause thing, everyone uses even if we go 82-0, you're not coming back. That wasn't a threat.
No, it wasn't. But it was a foolish statement though. He shouldn't have said it. That was him losing his leverage. Like you said, you shouldn't have said it. But
well, what it was is he was trying to explain,
mm-hmm.
because as you said, Phil had already made it clear years before, I don't want to come back. It's getting stale. It's getting too hard to continue. It's getting too hard to get through to them every night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they talk him into coming back. Then they talk him into coming back again. And he's adamant that this is his last year. He's not coming back. And the reporters keep asking, Krause, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is he coming back? And Krause finally says, look, even if we go 82-0, he's not coming back. He was confirming what Phil said, not threatening him.
That's facts. See, look, y'all heard that out of the man here who spends his time speaking with Michael Jordan fans. So y'all can't say it's coming from a biased mouth. It's coming from somebody who's being objective about Michael Jordan. That was Phil Jackson's words. We all knew that. So that's what I'm saying. So with Michael Jordan, right, knowing Phil Jackson is leaving, 98 is over with, right? He's adamant he's not going to play after that. He signs off on the Last Dance situation. He signs off on them filming him then. He just didn't sign off the approval for them to make it public, right? It was just supposed to be an insider thing. It was just supposed to be for the team, right? So
a lot of the team didn't even know that it was Michael Jordan behind the cameras.
Oh wow, Jordan! You know what? I do believe that he had hired a camera crew himself. Again, it was supposed to be for the team. It was going to be a memorabilia thing for them. It was going to be for the team, and obviously with Jordan being the popularity that he has and who he is, he's smart enough to know my likeness makes my money, so I'm not going to let anybody use my likeness whenever. So he made sure that they didn't make it public, but they still were allowed to film him. That's why we get all the personal things with him and the security guards. We get all of that. The Last Dance was great. We really did get the inside of what was going on. But again, Michael Jordan knew of all of this, so that's what I'm saying. So for Michael Jordan to still make it seem like, why did he hold a grudge against Jerry Krause so much? Is it really just because Jerry Krause said he was property at one time in his career?
No, it's Jerry Krause was the whipping boy. That's his job, is take heat from the owner and from the players. He's in the middle. What it is, okay.
This is
the whole story.
Keep going.
Okay,
the
whole story. When people say, "Well, Jordan broke up the Bulls," well, Phil broke up the Bulls, well, Scotty, whoever you want to say, Jerry Krause broke up the Bulls. You people need to understand money. Millionaires do not tell billionaires what to do. Reinsdorf broke up the team because Reinsdorf, being an owner and being on a lot of the owners' committees, was aware at the All-Star break in '98 that a lockout was very, very possible, if not likely, for the next season.
No, it was going to happen. They knew it was going to happen. When it's a lockout, you know it's happening.
But you don't want to, for legal reasons, you don't say, well, we knew halfway through the last season, because then that shows that you're not negotiating in good faith. So they'll never, ever say that.
Yeah, but we know Krause and Reinsdorf are smart enough to understand that it's very imminent. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But what fans don't understand is Reinsdorf owns two teams. Okay? He owns two teams.
Mm-hmm.
It would take him $50 million to re-sign the core of the 3P champions, to re-sign Pippen, Jordan, Rodman, and get Phil to come back if he would agree to it. It would cost $50 million for 1 year. And the players have no idea at this point about the lockout. This is talk behind closed doors in the owners. Remember, a strike is when the players do it. A lockout is when the owners do it.
Exactly. Yes.
So none of these players or coaches had any clue. Exactly. Only Reinsdorf knew.
Yes.
And he weighed the risks. What does he achieve by winning another title with the Bulls? Does it change their position historically?
No, it doesn't.
No, because they're still third, a distant third behind the Lakers and the Celtics, or at that time, the Celtics and the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They're still a distant third, even if they win 7. If they win 4 in a row, is that historic? No, because the Celtics won 8. So, from a historic standpoint, there's nothing in it for Reinsdorf. Okay? Reinsdorf is in it for money. Even if the team breaks up, Jordan's jersey is still number 1 worldwide. He's still making his money. He's still making all the merch money, all the Bulls stuff being sold worldwide. Reinsdorf is still making his money. The jersey sales, the hats, all of it. So what he does is he takes the $50 million. I think actually it was $43 million. And he turns it to his baseball team during the lockout. And in the same 7-year buildup that it took with the Bulls, he wins the World Series and now has 2 profitable revenue streams. That's what a billionaire owner is thinking about. That is success for the billionaire owner. He has a champion in both leagues, and he's getting all this revenue. And remember, guys, when you sell out a basketball stadium arena, you're talking 25, 30,000.
Not less than that. It's really like 20.
Yeah, and when you sell out what is it, Wrigley Field, White Sox playing? Or was it Comiskey? Comiskey.
Yeah,
it was Comiskey.
Like 35,000, right? 30,000?
No, Comiskey, no, you're talking 60. You're talking 60,000 for baseball. And you're talking 81 home games, not 41. Okay? Yes. Mm-hmm. You make more money off a champion baseball team. That is why the Bulls were broken up, because they knew the lockout was coming. He wasn't going to invest the money, knowing that if they didn't play at all, they were lucky to get a shortened season. If no agreement was come to, they wouldn't have played at all. But because the owners were locking them out, he's still legally responsible to pay all of their salaries.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he would have paid $50 million and gotten nothing. Instead, he paid $50 million and he got a second revenue stream, a second champion in another league. And now he gets to be one of the very few owners in history to be able to brag about that.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah, I'm speechless. Go ahead. What's good? Thanks. This is Dart from Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best page. Go ahead and do your intro, brother.
I heard some people saying that Michael Jordan fans were the worst. And I vehemently disagree. Michael Jordan fans are, in fact, the best. And you can come watch our channel with Politicus Rex or Jerry Krause Rex here, where we only talk about scoring titles and Defensive Player of the Year awards, because that's how casual, and mid-range shots, because that's how casual our page is. That's all we talk about on my page. Not stuff like this. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for joining me on a Friday night, Dart, man. I know you guys have your show as well. I think Nick has a show tonight, right? Nick does a show on a Friday night, so thank you for joining. But you had something yesterday, right? You did your little objective show yesterday, correct?
No, so for anybody that wants to challenge the objectiveness of my Goodwill Hunting GOAT formula, inspired by your formula, because it is more objective more comprehensive than your formula. I
Serious?
claim.
You claim. That's your claims, right? That's your claims? That's what you do?
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
because objectivity means things that are not subjective, like MVP awards, all
No.
time or
I think I gave you the definition. You watched the video, and if you're going to state that, let's state what the actual definition of objective is. And I have it here for you. Definition is, again, of a person or their judgment, not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. So what you must do to be objective is remove your personal feelings or your opinions or your subjectivity, meaning the idea that you wanted to only honor 3 awards for players for their careers. Am I correct by what your video stated?
those 3 awards cover the entire NBA, unlike MVP, and then other subjective awards like All-Team NBA. Rex, you want to say something?
Yeah. To be clear, those are not awards. Those are
titles.
There's only
They're
one
titles.
award.
Excuse me. Yeah.
They're accolades, 2 accolades, and one award.
No, they are achievements. They are achievements. You win a title, that is an achievement. If you outscore every other player, that is an achievement. If you out-assist every other player, that is an achievement. Those are accomplished on the court.
Yes.
Accolades are awards that are given after the
Subjectively.
fact.
Okay, I understand all of that. But again, the idea is not for you to decide what's subjective or not. You're supposed to remove that from the conversation. But let's just say you wanted to remove those things. Why didn't you add points scored and assists made?
Oh, you mean totals?
I mean what the players actually did objectively. Objectively, they actually put up those points and assists. So why wasn't that included? Because you said you were more comprehensive. The actual definition for comprehensive is complete.
Inclusive. Inclusive is a synonym.
No. Comprehensive means complete, including all or nearly all elements of aspects of something. So if we're talking about that aspect of something, we're talking basketball. Points being scored, like you said, was originally there since the NBA history, and assists. So why didn't you count the actual assists and points scored by the players in NBA history?
So because over time the rules change for how you're able to pass the ball, how you're able to, for the rules for the pace, all of these sorts of things. Where are you looking at? You got bugs flying around your room or something?
Yeah, the bugs of your bullshit. But continue. We continue. Your flies and your bullshit. But I'm listening.
So what matters, because over the rule changes and over the time of everything, what happens is that what matters the most is how you score more than other players in your time and space.
Okay. All right. I understand that. So let me ask you another question. You said scoring titles was a factor. But if I'm correct, Michael Jordan and the players who played after 1980 were able to make three-point shots, which didn't exist prior to 1980. So how can we include Michael Jordan and those players' points and their scoring titles when they use three-pointers to do it?
I'm not including their points. I'm including their scoring titles. The scoring titles, assist titles.
The scoring titles are won by your points scored, and Michael Jordan hit three-pointers to win scoring titles. How are you including scoring titles that include three-pointers made?
Because you can only score more than the people in your time and space. So he has 10 scoring titles.
So three-pointers are acceptable in your objective criteria?
No, they're acceptable in regards to scoring titles for who you're outscoring in your time and space per year.
Again, three-pointers was something that didn't exist, so you're giving somebody credit for something that didn't exist in the entire NBA history. The points you anybody,
I don't think you hear what I'm saying.
No, I do hear what you're saying. I don't think you understand the logic in which you were trying to present yourself with. Again, check this out. You said that everything you wanted to count had to be objective and there from the beginning of the NBA history. If there are players making three-pointers, that means Mike didn't get to get that. West didn't get to do that.
I talked about scoring more than everybody in a year. Nothing to do with three-pointers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they do when they get cooked by
You're not making any sense, dude.
You're not even allowing me to speak for me to make sense.
Okay, you did speak twice, and you're saying the same thing over and over again. I'm not talking about 3-pointers. I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
scoring more than everybody every year.
No, I'm
in the year
asking
you
you
play.
why. I'm asking you why are you ignoring the 3-point shot being included to help players who had the 3-point shot when you said that you're not going to include anything that did not exist since the beginning of NBA's history?
You're trying to pinpoint something that has nothing to do with scoring more than everybody else in the year that you play.
If you are making if you're including the 3-pointers, it's the same thing with MVPs. That has nothing to do with me winning an MVP in the era that I played in. Has nothing to do with me getting rebounds in the era that I played in. That's the same thing for everything else that didn't count in 1947.
The reason the MVP did not exist for the entire NBA, so he didn't include it. Rebounding title didn't include, so he didn't include that. Okay. The one thing with his the what's the word? The prerequisite, the starting point for his argument, for Dart's argument, is you can't compare players against eras. You can only judge them in their own time. The reason you count Jordan's 10 scoring titles or LeBron's 1 when they had 3-pointers, when West in 1970, when he won the scoring title, did not, is because every other player that LeBron outscored also had the 3. So it was a level playing field for the time in which he played.
Apparently, I wasn't clear with that. Apparently, I wasn't clear with that.
You're not. This is where, again, you were very clear because I listened and I paid attention and I allowed you to say it. So now that I can respond to exactly what you said. With that being said, that also applies for MVPs, all NBAs, rebounds, steals, blocks, because again, all of those things existed within their time and space.
But they didn't have that through the entire NBA player of the NBA, so he didn't count them.
Double shot, bang, 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 bang. Listen, gentlemen. It was a great job by you guys. You did a great job. You really did.
I had nothing to do with it.
Again, you know what? I remember Jordan fans don't take one for the team. So again, Dart, you did a great job.
I'm not a Jordan fan.
Here you guys go. There you guys go.
I'm sorry.
No, I had no part. I had no. He didn't. He did not bring this up to me before he posted the video. I knew nothing of it.
I know, and that's why I excluded you when I just said Dart. You did a good job. I said exactly. I excluded you. You said you're not a Jordan fan. You're just a part of Dart's page.
I had the guts to challenge your formula, unlike everyone else apparently.
Yes, you did. That I would give to you. That I would give to you, my man.
I had the intestinal fortitude to challenge your mathematical formula to prove the GOAT.
Now, so let's do this.
You mean you had the downtime?
Yeah.
I had a couple hours to think about it.
Listen, all right. Well, you said you were stewing. You said you were stewing for 2 weeks. That was your words. But
those were my words. Yes, but they were exaggerated. 2 hours. That's the real time.
Let's do this before I let you gentlemen go. Thank you again. This is fun. Do you have any questions about our criteria? Because I believe you guys still have some confusion.
Why do you weight MVPs or any other award over anything else, especially when MVPs are subjectively picked?
We don't actually grade MVPs over everything else. You are graded from your MVPs or accolades based on the greatest accomplishment of that accolade. So everybody was graded towards Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 6 MVPs.
Okay, so maybe I misunderstood what your scoring was, because I saw the other night when you had MVPs are 5 points, and then
that was my personal criteria. That's a different criteria.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
My personal criteria, that's where my subjective falls, and that's where my personal preference comes in at. Because now I'm deciding what is more valuable or not, what is weighted more or not. I'm not figuring out a objective weight.
Okay, that's the one that I looked at.
Yeah. Now, granted, I agree with you. It is subjective because I am deciding the value. I do believe the championship is the most important thing a player plays for. I believe the second greatest accomplishment a player would aim for within an NBA season is the league MVP. You get a lot of money if you're a league MVP. Your contracts change, everything like that. After that, I believe the All NBA is next. The reason why is because the All NBA is the oldest and longest award that's been available to the NBA players, including the All-Star, right? So I put the All NBA there. Then I had the All Defensive Teams. Then I had the Finals MVP because that is an honorable award, and it was around since '69. Then I had the All-Star because the All-Star is before the Defensive Player of the Year. But then again, these were all me just trying to find logical ways to grade them because, again, I wanted to make sure every accolade had its own point system, its own actual point. So when I graded you off of that, you just got off of that. I didn't want nothing to be equal. So I had 10 accolades, and I made sure that there was a half a point distance between each one, so that when you had championships at 10 and somebody winning Rookie of the Year at 1, that was too large of a gap for me. I thought 5 to 1 was good, or 5 to 0.5 was good enough. I believe it was 5 to 1. So that's what I did. But again, it is subjective. That is the only subjective part of my criteria.
Is you and Brandon's formula your quantifiable formula, because you're saying it's all quantifiable, at least for the GOAT one? I don't know exactly what it is. So is it all weighted equally, or other things weighted differently?
No, it's weighted depending on the actual accomplishment. So again, like I said, if you have one league MVP,
so there's subjectivity to it. Your object. That's what weight does, is add subjectivity to it. Unless
the subjectivity would be me adding that. Again, I am removing my subjectivity by saying if 6 is the greatest accomplishment in MVPs, then that means he's going to get the highest amount of points for being that. Would you agree the guy who does the most should earn the most recognition for that?
That's a subjective award in regards to scoring, like scoring titles and assist titles. MVPs are subjective. He won more. I understand that. But it's a subjective award, just like All-Team NBA, etc.
I'm being subjective, not the award. The award being subjective have nothing to do with it. That's the point. I am removing my biases by saying it is an award. I'm acknowledging it as is. It is raw as what it is. It represents the greatness of MVPs. It represents the greatness of Defensive Player of the Year. It represents the greatness of points scored or points per game. These are the accomplishments. These are the greatest accomplishments, and players are measured towards the greatest accomplishments.
So is there any subjectivity to an MVP or an All-Team NBA or an All-Star?
Of course, it's voted.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How can you?
The award is not again. Dart, listen.
Are you talking about? You're talking about because they awarded were the most. That's why they get number one.
No. I'm going to say this once and once only. Again, for you to understand this, the award being subjective, meaning that people voting for the award, has nothing to do with me being objective. I am the one who have to remove my biases by not thinking that the award isn't a subjective award so I can grade it however I want to. No, I need to find out how to find the greatest accomplishment within that. So to do that, we cannot knock 6 MVPs. There's no knocking it. There's no praising it. It is what it is. It's 6 MVPs. That's what it is. That's what's being objective, because now I have removed my biases in representing the facts. The facts is 6 is the most. That's not me being subjective. That's the facts. No one has 6. So he has the greatest accomplishment in winning MVPs. We're going to grade him for doing that, and we're going to measure how close you are to that greatness. It's not my fault. Your guide does not measure to greatness without you adding and creating myths for him to have that, or to think him selling shoes.
All right, you can slander me like that.
No, I'm just letting you know. Again, you're allowed to be subjective. As LeBron fan, I can't.
I mean, you're slandering me, but that's okay. That's fine. You can go and attack my character like you usually do.
I'm not doing that. You are a Jordan fan. You do that by yourself. I just pointed out. You have a great day, Dart. You too, Rex. All right, what's good? Lamont, brother? Peace.
What up, man?
These dudes are funny, man. I was very respectful, like I always am.
I was wanting to talk to him. I was wanting to ask him something, man. I wish you didn't boot him, man.
Dart, but let me see if Dart wants to still speak. Dart, are you available to speak to FYF Sports? What's
up, man?
He sound frustrated. No, I was just wondering, like, so your criteria, because I saw the short video where you laid out your particular criteria.
That wasn't mine. That was his. But
okay,
yeah.
what like if you? I mean, and I don't even know if you have it on hand, right? I don't even know if you have it on hand, but And I don't care what people's criteria is. I just like making sure people's criteria actually
it's not my
equates to the player.
criteria.
What's your criteria?
It's a formula. So
Okay.
I made a formula
what would your
because
formula be?
so my formula was inclusive to every player in NBA history that had objective measurements, not being voted on like MVP, All-Star, etc. So that was the scoring title, the assist title, and championships, because all Team NBA, All-Stars, and anything else past us doesn't include everybody. So those All-Stars and then all NBA are subjective voted on awards. Scoring titles and assist titles.
So you
and
removed anything that was voted on?
Yes, because that's subjective.
And so it sounds like you're going with more running totals or averages?
Well, because it was a formula, I thought that quantitative data is more important than qualitative data.
Okay. And so what's the final formula?
I'm not saying this is how I choose my GOAT. I just made a formula up. So, if you're asking,
be honest. Just be honest. He was mocking us, man. He was supposed to make fun of us, but it never works. It never works.
Well, I mean, what would the formula be? Because I'm just asking because right now I'm kind of in the unknown because I don't know what your criteria is. Like, so let's say we scratch everything that was been discussed, and you just have to just lay out what your own personal criteria would potentially be that leads to any particular player being the GOAT. What would for me, I'll give you an example. For me, one of the primary things with regards to the GOAT conversation with me, like to be in my top 10, it revolves around dominance in your particular era, and dominance in any individual era can be different. And I think that's a more fair criteria because dominance looks different in every era of basketball. In certain eras, dominance can be more, you can be like Bill Russell. It was more defensive oriented. And he led his team defensively to win championships, but he was the most dominant player of that era along with Wilt. And then you can go into the 80s with players like Bird and Magic, and obviously the 90s with Jordan. Jordan, I feel like, dominated his era better than any other player. I mean, and I just start with that, and then I trickle down to all the other things. But what would you start with and kind of base your criteria around?
Okay, so that's how I objectively made my formula. So scoring titles mean you dominated in scoring. In assist titles, it means you dominating an assist. And with the championships, it means that you dominated winning in the ultimate goal of winning a team sport. So that is a dominance that is inclusive in regards to comprehensive to everybody in NBA history. Now, if you want to poke holes and say, well, only 1 year rebounding titles didn't exist, that's fine. I understand. I'm not claiming that I'm an authority to this, but if you're talking about dominance, that's exactly what my quantitative formula does. Now, I also think that impact on and off the court for the culture of the game and then the culture of spreading the word of the NBA and basketball is also a factor of what makes you great. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I think that Michael Jordan is the GOAT for his spread of the NBA during the 90s specifically. If you want to pinpoint one moment, the Olympic team, and then just the dominance that he had in the NBA. That's my personal thing. That is qualitative. The quantitative formula is inclusive to everybody in NBA history. Now, I get what Ajani is saying and others. I understand that these things people put value in. I'm just saying that they're not as measurable as saying that you scored more than everybody else or you had more assists than everybody else. If you want to include rebounds, then ultimately Wilt Chamberlain have the most of all of that. But that does not include everybody. That does not include the first year. That would change the metric for everybody. And then Michael Jordan would still be in second. And he's still, for my subjectivity, I think that the off-the-court stuff that is less measurable is still impactful, the influence of the game, that those sorts of things.
So you don't think that your criteria, because it sounds like your criteria, it kind of dumbs the game down as far it makes it like one-dimensional. You know, there's a coach that I spoke to. And I spoke to a coach at a coaching seminar, and this one element kind of made me rethink how I looked at a lot of these rankings when I go to rank players. He said when basketball players play basketball, he says they play defense far more than they're actually on offense with the ball in their hands or just even on offense. He says you spend more time in a basketball game defending. And I think this is one of the reasons why people say defense win championships. How one of the most, it seems like your criteria is missing one of the most important elements of basketball, which is the defensive side. And it seems like your criteria is solely based on offensive things to me, like assist and scoring. And then even when you come to championships, I don't even know how you can fairly measure that, because I think even to get to championships, there's a little bit of luck in that. Getting drafted to the right team, the organization making the correct moves. I mean, as far as great as, for example, a player like Kareem, he can be great, 27 points per game and extremely dominant, but his team missed the playoffs. I mean, we've seen this. We've seen throughout NBA history, we've seen players be individually great, but individually great is never going to beat a better team. I don't care how good you are. And Jordan proved that early in his career. Jordan could have arguably been the best player in the league. He was never going to beat the Celtics or the Pistons until the Bulls made the decision to build around them and actually build a competitive squad that can win. And sometimes that's luck, getting drafted to a team that's willing to do that. If Jordan gets drafted, let's say to the Clippers, do the Clippers build around him? So even championships to a certain degree could be thrown in that subjective category, because that's not something that players individually can control.
All right. So you started off with defense, right? So what I wanted to say with that, again, just to reiterate, this formula is all based off of objective, quantifiable data that is inclusive to everybody in the NBA throughout all of NBA history. So do I understand what you're saying? I do. It's not a one-sided game. I'm not claiming that. I said I made a formula that is objective and comprehensive to include everybody in the NBA throughout its entire history. That's it. I also said that I have other things that, for me, my subjective list that I haven't made a formula to, because a formula isn't going to decide who the GOAT is plainly. It's a subjective measurement. So you can use a tool. That's fine. I made a tool up. I made my Goodwill Hunting tool up to show my quantifiable, all-inclusive list. But to the point is that saying who the GOAT is subjective in totality. So you can make a formula up and weight things and do all these things to say that it matters more than the other. But I agree with you. Defense is a huge part of the game. The team's subjectivity, some players or some leaders of teams win more championships than others, and then maybe some other players may be better than others, but how can you how can you actually really tell that? One of the easiest measurements to tell, because it is so nuanced, I mean, unless you are a scout, and I don't know exactly what you are other than you run your YouTube page, or your experience with basketball. I'm not very experienced, but to the point is I know enough that an expert needs to absolutely study absolutely everybody to understand who is better than who. I mean, to say that one guy throughout all time is better than everybody is very subjective.
But I don't think. See, that's the thing, and I think that's where people go wrong with the GOAT conversation. I think a lot of people are sitting here trying to prove who's better than who, when the GOAT conversation, when you really look at it, it just encompasses basically not just being the best player, but having the greatest career. And so the GOAT. So if you want to have a conversation about, like I said, if you want to have a conversation about who's the best player, there's going to, like, if you just stick to player and you start eliminating all of the other stuff that comes with basketball, your list is going to start looking real funny, because you're going to start introducing players into that conversation who individually are extremely talented. Like, for example, do I think Jordan is the most talented basketball player of all time? No. I wouldn't say he's even the most skillful player of all time. but I still, based on my criteria, and I encompass his entire career, can put him at the top for now and say he's the GOAT because of his entire body of work. And I don't formulate some type of criteria that completely eliminates all of the great things that he did. And the same with the LeBrons and the Kareems and even the Bill Russells. And I think the players of the 60s, those are the guys that get slighted the most. Primarily because of people who formulate kind of criteria like yours that kind of just essentially eliminate certain people from the pool by default. I don't know. I think I'd be curious to hear what your top 10 looks like with that criteria.
He doesn't have a top 10. He has a Mount Rushmore. I'm sorry, Dark. Go ahead.
So so do you want to hear what my formula came out with, or do you want to hear my personal opinion without adding a formula to it? I made the formula a couple days ago. It's not something it's not my real opinion. I just made a formula inspired by Goat James Kingdom. Do you want to hear what that formula came up with the top 10?
Yeah, hold on. Before you do that, Dart, yes, I want to hear it, and so will Lamont. Travis, give us a second. I will bring you up shortly. Let's let Dart give us his top 10. Give us your top 10 without the formula. Just break down your top 10 greatest players of all time.
So, okay, I can do that, but FYF, do you want to hear what the formula came up with?
So this is a different formula?
I don't have a formula for my GOAT. I made this do you want to hear what the formula came out with, or do you want to hear my personal top 10?
Oh, he's asking you, do you want to hear the top 10 from the formula that he created, inspired by us, or do you just want to hear his real top 10? That's what he's asking.
Yeah, let's hear what you came up with your formula.
Okay, yeah. All
right,
so,
all right. So number 1 was Michael Jordan. Number 2 was Bob Cousy. Now, for all y'all that want to hate on him, he won 8 straight assist titles, one MVP, and won 6 NBA championships. Bill Russell himself, this is qualitative data because I know it's hard to differentiate the two for some people. Bill Russell was even saying that people thought that Bob Cousy was better than him when they're like, oh, Bob Cousy's out. And then he would be upset by that because he was winning MVPs. That's just something to consider. That's a sidebar. Number 3, Bill Russell. Number 4, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 5 is a two-way tie with Magic Johnson and John Stockton, who won 9 assist titles. And then it's John Havlicek, George Mikan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're all tied. And then there's another tie between Kobe Bryant and Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson won 6 assist titles. Okay. A lot of these guys, you might know a lot of their accolades, so I don't want to go down the line of it. But so the point is that all of these guys at least are in the top 50. And they were dominant in their time and space for their statistical value or their team accomplishments.
So what I did was also, just while you were talking, was I took your criteria, solely your criteria. And I like to use ChatGPT because they're a bit non-biased and it can get to the information. So I put in your particular criteria. And so when I enter your criteria into ChatGPT, remember, it's non-biased. It doesn't think like us. It doesn't have any reason ChatGPT doesn't have any particular reason to put any guy. I'm gonna tell you what ChatGPT kicked out for us, right?
For its top 10,
based on just using the elements that you presented, your elements. And this is what I like to do. I like people's criteria. If I put it into a non-biased system, it should kick out something similar. The one thing that I did like is that your top 10 and ChatGPT's top 10 did include Bob Cousy. But they had him in a much different place. So it's just kind of interesting how this played out. So according to your criteria,
mine was all about numbers.
No, it does. And this is Bob
Cousy's number 2 with the numbers.
I know, but I'm just telling you the order that ChatGPT put together using your specific criteria. So at number 1, it has Wilt Chamberlain, 7 scoring titles, 2 championships. At number 2, it has Bill Russell with 11 championships. And it also says Russell doesn't have any scoring titles or assist titles, but 11 championships with the Celtics are unmatched. And that was his explanation. At number 3, it has LeBron James, 1 scoring title, 4 championships. They also include known for his versatility, all around play, contributing significantly to every team he's been a part of. And number 4,
what does that have to do with my formula?
I'm just telling you, just your formula entered into a non-biased system. I'm just telling you what it kicked out.
What did you write into it?
Okay, I'll tell you. This is what I typed in. I said using.
If you
I'm going to tell you what I typed.
Everything.
No. This is what I'm telling you. I said using.
I don't know what you're telling me other than you're trying to clown me because I'm telling you what my formula said.
I can share my screen.
Wait, Dart, allow him. It's Chat GTP. He just typed in the things that you told him. It may not be word for word.
If you add,
I'm going to tell you verbatim. I'm going to tell him verbatim what I typed in. This is what I typed in. I said using only scoring titles, assist titles, and championships as the criteria for evaluating players.
It's not doing that though, obviously.
Okay, so hold on. I'm just telling you what I typed in. I don't control what it kicks out. So I'm just telling you so you're informed at least with what I typed in. I said using only scoring titles, assist titles, and championships as the criteria for evaluating players. Who would you say is your top 10? And so this is what it kicked out. So at number 4, and I gave you the first 3, that's where Michael Jordan falls. It says Michael Jordan's 10 scoring titles, 6 championships. It says he doesn't have assist titles. His dominance in scoring and significant championships puts him at number 4. And then at number 5, it has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 2 scoring titles, 6 championships, and it says his longevity and consistent performance contributed to his scoring titles and championships. The list rounds out at the end with guys like Larry Bird, Bob Cousy, Kobe Bryant. It also includes Isaiah Thomas in this list as well. So, like I said, I do like that your list did include Bob Cousy, but I always tell people, and it's just fun putting together criteria and seeing what gets kicked out when we put it into non-biased systems, to see if our criteria matches up, or if we're just even, we all have our own biases. We all maybe might bump a guy up 1 or 2 spots just because, and I do that with Scottie Pippen. I like the defensive guys. I have certain guys where, I might bump him up an extra spot, maybe a little higher than he's supposed to do. That's just my biases. So it's just curious to see what gets kicked out when we put our criteria into systems like this, just to see where it measures up. So it's just kind of odd, I don't know.
ChatGPT can't add clearly because all of my stuff is weighted by 1 if you won that title or not, so it can't add clearly.
Okay, so. I mean, like I said,
that's what I needed.
So it's about adding it all up.
So you said, so wait a minute.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So you evaluated winning 1 championship equal to winning a scoring title or an assist title, correct?
Yes, because I can't objectively weight them more than the other.
That's odd because that would mean David Robinson's scoring title is equivalent to any championship that Jordan won, which to me it's just hard for me. It's the way David Robinson chased that scoring title versus the Clippers at the end of that year. It's just extremely hard for me to say that his scoring title is equivalent to any championship that a player's won. And when you got players that it's just odd. It's just a very odd criteria. And I understand why you utilize it, because if you add those metrics up, it will put Jordan at the top, and it'll obviously make your case for Jordan. But I just think you get odd names in that list that don't belong. And that's where your criteria starts to fall apart when you got guys like Bob Cousy.
It's not my criteria; it's a formula. And I'm just. And you talked about dominance.
You can create formulas. It doesn't mean they're correct, but you can create them.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is that no formula is correct? It's subjective.
That was his point. He was trying to literally say, "I can do what GOAT James Kingdom did," and he really can't. And it's hilarious.
Okay, so that's why I was asking him, what's his honest formula if he's not trolling?
So just like any sort of research, there's things such as quantitative and qualitative data.
Understandable.
Okay. So everyone knows at this point I don't got to spit out what Michael Jordan did. And then essentially it's not just Michael Jordan, but it's quantitative data with MVPs, championships, whatever, all these awards, impact off the court, and then there's impact on the court in respect to changes in the game. So there's impact off the court in regards to culture and growth of the game, impact on the court due to the rule changes and influence of the game.
And your tradition, and your top 5,
data.
and your let's say Mount Rushmore, without trolling GOAT James Kingdom, with the criteria, what is your personal?
Well, there's 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, what's your 4? Your Mount Rushmore. You don't have to give me 5. Who is that Mount Rushmore for you if you're not trolling?
Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, George Mikan, and Magic Johnson.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
All right, so gentlemen, you guys have been giving us a great conversation here. I really appreciate it. But you both have your own platforms that you can combine and enjoy the conversation with one another.
Yeah.
So, Darla, I want to thank you for coming back on. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure to check out Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best page, which if you're a Michael Jordan fan or someone who loves the 1900s, he is your man. So check out his page. They have a whole crew of guys. They talk basketball weekly. Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time is where his show is. So,
we actually switched it to 12 because we did it in respect to NFL season.
Really?
We did.
No
we used to do it at 12.
Kingdom. No
we used to do it at 12.
Kingdom, right? no respect for Goat James Kingdom, huh? Hey.
Hey, think about it though. If they get bored of one of our shows, and I'm sure you'll say they'll get bored of my show more, even though we got Rex the Souffle Rex on our show. But yeah, I mean, you can just flip back and forth. But I wanted to say that I had the guts to do math and make this formula that apparently nobody in the entire world had the intestinal fortitude to do. And just one more thing.
We already did it. We did a formula already.
No, let him go.
Okay, he said nobody did. He said nobody did.
Drop it.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Michael Jordan fans are the best.
Oh my God!
Thank you so much, Dart. Have a great evening, my friend.
Yeah, wow. I don't know, man. Where you find that's why I wanted to come up here, because you have some of the biggest characters, man. I'm saying, man,
bigger than me. I cannot have it. That's preposterous. I got to be the biggest character of all.
Well, I just wish people. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hold on, Lamont. Travis, thank you for joining me. Travis, you only usually turn as red as you are right now when somebody's talking about Kobe Bryant and you don't like it. But listen, let me ask you a question. I didn't want to ask him this because he already thought I was making fun of him. You are a white man. I'm going to ask you this as a white man.
I'm not.
Listen. Could I be fair in saying I'm not going to count none of NBA history that didn't include black players?
Oh, you sound like Dart. Sorry. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to say that to him. He didn't understand my 3-point question. Did you understand my 3-point question, Lamont?
No, I understood it. I mean, and that's something that's why I said going down the road of just using scoring titles along with 2 other things. I was like, that's kind of wild, because scoring through different eras is looked at differently. Like what to be a great scorer, or I don't know, man. I mean, it like I say, a lot of the people that like to run to scoring and scoring titles and averages. I mean, obviously their ultimate goal is to bring forth criteria that ultimately just puts Jordan at the top. The problem is when they start to shape out their criteria, they don't like the other names that follow after Jordan, because that's what their criteria bring forth. It's going to bring forth a whole, like his criteria, it did one thing. It put Jordan at the top, but it also put Isaiah Thomas, it put Bob Cousy, and a whole bunch of people that don't belong in the top 10 in the top 10. That's where I feel like your criteria breaks down. And
that's why it was an epic fail for him.
Yeah, it was fair.
And he deserved what he gets, because you have now been exposed by the
Dude,
exposed.
I tried for a long time to be like forgiving for all this casual nonsense, but then I saw that and I was like, this is like, I thought it was for sure a troll job. I'm still not 100% convinced that it's not.
It was. He was
but,
trolling.
I mean,
he was
it has
trolling.
to be, right? Because your list, was at least semi-objective and like kind of, put everything, consider everything. Like,
it
we're
was
going to do that.
completely objective. Our list was complete. We took away all our biases. We didn't want to add advanced stats. We took away everything. Do you really think we wanted to equate Defensive Player of the Year higher than the MVP? Yeah. It's just what the numbers stated. We just had to go by what the numbers. That was it.
Also, he had championships on just championships as a role player on par with being the scoring and assist leader.
Can I tell you what ChatGPT said after doing this list? It did a summary. It concluded by saying this list is quite restrictive and doesn't fully reflect the greatness of these players, as it excludes other critical factors like MVP awards, defensive accomplishments, and overall impact on the game. Players like Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, and others might feature more prominently in broader GOAT discussions that consider a wider range of achievements and contributions to the game.
No,
So even
Lamont, we can't
ChatGPT
count any of
understood.
that because it goes against the narrative. So we
Yeah, it
can't
does.
count MVPs
No,
or anything
do
like
this.
that.
Do this for me, Lamont.
Yeah.
Add points scored and assists made.
So hold on. Add what? Okay, let's
points scored. Total points scored.
Please add. Total points scored. Total career points.
Yeah, career points scored.
Points scored. And what else?
Career assists made.
And career assists made.
Also, Ajani, Bob Cousy's number 2 because he was winning scoring titles, averaging just over 7 assists a game for 7 years. So that makes him number 2 all time.
10 less.
Now, mind you, Bob Cousy cracked my top 30, right? People hate me when I got Cousy in my top 10 point guards of all time, right? He was a great player, right? And
Good
again,
player.
I think I could
also
be
got carried for 11 years.
Oh my God, this is nasty right here.
Okay, give it to us. Come on, Lamont. Give it to us, please.
Oh my God.
Lamont, hey, listen.
Is it wrong?
Oh my God, when you do that.
Listen. This is what Lamont does. Lamont is FYF Sports Debate Sports. No, Sports Debate. He has a great platform where he lets people come up and talk basketball. What he does is remove his biases by going to ChatGTP. Everybody know ChatGTP is an AI-generated site that you can just ask questions and help you do things. So he is putting in what Dart put in as his criteria, which was championships won, assist titles won, scoring titles won, and now we're going to add points scored for their career and assists made for their career to see what the top 10 is. Right. So give it to us.
So number 1 is going to be LeBron James. Says total points, scoring titles, 4 championships. Number 2, it has Karl Malone.
Wow.
Number 2, it has Karl Malone. Number 3, it has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 38,000 points, 2 scoring titles, 6 championships. Number 4, it has Kobe Bryant. 33,000 points, 2 scoring titles, 5 championships. Then it has Wilt Chamberlain, 31,000 points, 7 scoring titles, 2 championships. Then it has Dirk Nowitzki. And then following Dirk, it has Michael Jordan.
I knew this was my exact list.
Jordan's followed by Shaquille O'Neal, then Moses Malone, and then Elvin Hayes.
Elvin Hayes, damn. Where's John Stockton?
Oh, so right here it has honorable mention. So it says the honorable mention. So the guys that follow at 11, 12, 13, and 14, you have Stockton, Magic, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash.
All the point guards. Of course.
So those are the guys right outside the top 10. If you just remember, we're just using his. It's just a flawed way to. It's flawed.
I mean, there's no objective list that doesn't have the top 3 being Mike, Kareem, and LeBron. If you're just being objective, statistically, take emotions out of it, with a sidebar for Bill and Wilt. Otherwise, I'll have a discussion with you if you include anything beyond that. But some list that has Bob Cousy on it, and you just want to say it's because he was winning assist titles, then I'll shake your hand and I'll turn the other way and not talk to you about basketball again. So
you know, out of all of this, you know what I'm happy about, Lamont? That Wilt Chamberlain made everyone's top 10. Because he should be in the top 10. Wilt Chamberlain should be in anybody's top 10. And it recognized players that I recognize. Because if you looked up my top 30, I had Evan Hayes. I have Bob Cousy. Right? Yeah. I have Isaiah Thomas. So based off of Dart's trolling of GOAT James Kingdom, and mind you, we inspired this young man to do this. This is what we do best in GOAT James Kingdom.
Oh, man.
So y'all make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to become a member of the channel because we are working hard to expose all these lies, and we're going to keep doing it. Become a member of the community. We're gonna collaborate with great platforms like Lamont's platform, which is FYF Sports Debate, and other groups. You know what Travis does. You know what we do. I'm Ajani the Exposer. Friday night exposure is here for everybody. But I went longer than I was supposed to, gentlemen. So I'm going to let you guys get your last words in so we can get up out of here.
Yeah, I got to get out of here myself. So I appreciate you having me on, man.
I'm a big fan, by the way.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Glad you checked me out, man. Hopefully we can get you pulling up, man. We need more and more people coming up sometimes because
anytime, man.
Because GOAT James Kingdom was by itself last night, man.
Before you left, did you see the video we posted today?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw a piece of it. I haven't watched the full thing, so I need to go back and watch the full thing.
Yeah, well, again, I literally didn't want to make it, but then I saw it through. I said, you know what? This was epic. That was a classic show last night. Great job by you. Check out last night's show. They had it. What was the title of it again? It was something about Michael Jordan trivia. What was the title?
Yeah, it was just like Michael Jordan trivia for Jordan fans. We was just seeing how much they really knew about Jordan.
That's why I never want smoke with Ajani ever, because it's pointless.
Oh man!
Listen. I pass the joint sometimes. I really don't like passing my joint, but if you want the smoke, I am available Friday nights for anybody. I'm available Sunday noon Eastern time. Thank you so much, Lamont, man. You be good.
All right, man. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, Travis. Any last words, man, before we get up out of here, man?
No, man. Again, just a masterclass out of you. Yesterday was sitting there. I was like, damn, wouldn't want to be those guys. But that's it, man. Shout out to the chat, and see you guys on Sunday.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for coming up tonight. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to really get to interact. I know you wanted to talk more, but we'll get a chance Sunday and next Friday. So again, that's Travis. He's available on our Facebook group, and he'll see him Sunday, noon Eastern time, where we go live to talk about the greatest players and the GOAT of basketball.
Absolutely.
So you enjoy your evening, sir. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Friday Night Exposure with The Exposer. I'm Ajani The Exposer. This is the GOAT James Kingdom platform where we go live on Friday nights and Sunday afternoons. So I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Friday night. You guys enjoy yours. Again, thanks for everybody who joined me again. Don't be afraid to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share the content. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, right here on YouTube. We're going to continue to drop new information for you guys because that's what we do best. We are the GOAT James Kingdom platform. I'm Ajani The Exposer. Peace and blessings, y'all. Y'all enjoy your Friday evening.